All right, so we're going to be brewing, what we brew with at that cafe are Hario V60 Mugens. It's a slightly updated design from their last ones that had the little swirls on the side. You get a much better contact of the paper filter to the side of the cone, and it eliminates a lot of the bypass brewing. So first thing you're going to want to do is, with some hot water, pre-wet your filter and kind of warm everything up that we are going to be brewing with. Excuse me. Don't forget to dump the hot water out of the bottom of the carafe. Next thing we're going to do, depending on your recipe, you're going to want to use anywhere from 18.5 to 19 grams of coffee. So we're going to want to go ahead and dump that into our cone and double check the weight. I'm going to need to take a little bit out here, down to 18.8, and I'm also going to make a little bird's nest. Don't forget to tare your scale, and then we're going to add around 60 to 70 milliliters of water. Milliliters, by the way, equals grams, and start the timer. Your main focus here is to wet out all the dry grounds as evenly and as fast as possible. After that, I'm going to do a little swirl to help the water saturate all the grounds. We're going to wait for about 30 seconds. After 30 seconds, we're going to do one final pour, and we're going to go all the way up to 320 milliliters of water. I'm going to start in the center and kind of just go around the outside a little bit and make sure that we're kind of wetting out all the grounds. And get it just right. That's the main gist of it. We're going to wait a few more seconds. We're going to do a little clockwise swirl and a couple taps, which will help level out the bed so we get a nicer, even extraction. Now, a lot of you might be like, well, that's really simple. It's because it really is that simple. The main reason that we do it this way is because it's way easier to keep a lot of consistency over 8-10 different people making pour overs all the time. Sure, you can nerd out at home and get really into it. Try brewing with 2 or 3 pours, try longer blooms, shorter blooms. So bloom, what is a bloom? You might hear people say that a lot. A bloom is usually the first phase of water contacting the grounds. And the main goal of that is to displace the gases and wet out the coffee as evenly as possible. Same thing goes back to what we just said. We want everything to be as even as possible when we're brewing. And a lot of times there'll be a time associated with the bloom. That's basically how long you let the coffee rest, wet it out, before you add more water to do your final brew. So a lot of people will say 30 seconds, 45 seconds, a minute and 20. All you're doing is adding a little bit of water, saturating all the grounds, and letting it rest until you do the rest of the brew. There's a lot of stuff that you can do, but mostly all of our coffee is in the same rested period, and it's just a lot easier to save on consistency, or to be more consistent with a lot of different people brewing your coffee this way rather than doing a bunch of small little things. So after that, I'm going to do a little swirl. This helps remove any of the grounds off the side walls, and a couple taps. And every coffee is going to brew at different times. The main thing that you're going to want to keep track of is just how long it took and how it tasted. There isn't a definite time that a coffee should brew at for optimal taste, so that's going to all be based on your experience and preferences. One final magic little secret step that we do at the cafe, it's not really a secret if you've ever enjoyed coffee here, but we will take the coffee and aerate it between 2 carafes back and forth a few times, just like this. All it does is add some air into the brew to help increase the perceived aromatics. So it's just like pouring your wine through one of those little overpriced little snifter things when all you could really do is pour your wine into a larger vessel. And that's it.